Yo, welcome back to another video. It's your boy Local Stoic here again with another top 11 video for your head top. This video we'll be talking about player contract negotiations at the beginning of the season. Now this match that you're looking at, it's actually a match by one of my friends in the game that I added about 3 seasons ago, and he was actually the person that challenged me in the league. No, that's not true. Timmy Sawara is the one that beat me in the Champions League after I had won my treble in season 3. I met him in season 4 and he beat me in the Champions League. Now, Timmy Sawara has been on a steady decline ever since that happened. His team did not do so well last season. He was in the league with me last season. He didn't perform very well. He actually finished 5th. Yeah, he finished 5th after just beating me in the Champions League in the previous season. So, Timmy Sawara finishing 1-0 in that match there. That's not what we're here to talk about, but I just thought I should mention that because it's going to play an important role in what we talk about today. If you notice, Timmy Sawara, he was actually just playing that match because, well, of course, he needed to win it to proceed through the cup. But as I said, I added him a few seasons ago, but his team has been on a steady decline. If you notice, when you check on his team, you see players are way out of position because, again, in my previous video that I uploaded prior to this one, player contract negotiations, I had another video on my channel. You'll see that link in the description. At the end of the season, I did a contract negotiation for the season that just ended, which was season 6 for me. For you, it might be season 1 or 2 if you're a new player. If you're an older player that's returning, you might be a couple seasons ahead of me. But I think the rules are still the same. So go check that video out to find out what you do at the end of your season to negotiate your contracts, or how you go about negotiating contracts at the end of your season. And in this video, we'll be talking about season contract negotiations at the beginning of the season. So again, back to Timmy Sawara. He did not negotiate any contracts last season, and it shows because he had a goalkeeper, Dumitru Getty. He was playing striker in that match a while ago. If you didn't notice, I don't know if you had noticed, but while I was watching the match, he got maybe 5 or 6 opportunities and he missed all of them because it's a goalkeeper playing in the position of a striker. Of course, he's not going to score any goals. He doesn't know how to score goals. He has no skill in scoring goals. So he did not have any player that could play in that position. All these other players were playing in other positions. And as I said in the previous video to this one, the assistant manager will not be smart enough to put the players in their correct position. That is unfortunate, but that's just how the game is. It will just automatically assign the first player to that position that is needed based on the priority listing on the bench. So in his first team from last season, he reserved just a few players, and again, they're all out of position. So yeah, I don't know what happened, but his players are all over position, all out of positions. The goalkeeper playing in an attacking position is just crazy to me. Or it could just be a social experiment that he was conducting. I don't know, but he doesn't seem as if though, I don't know what was happening there, but you know, he did make it through the finals though. He did attend the match, so I don't know. Maybe he's just returning into the game because of the 3D. I'm not sure, but whatever the case is, let's just dive right into the player contract negotiations. Into the transfer market we go. So at the beginning of the season, you want to find players that are at least 4.5 in stars, 4.5 stars. That's the lowest you want to sign in your team. You don't want anybody that is 3.5. You don't want anybody that is a flat 4, unless of course they have maybe a special ability or they play multiple positions that you might need in your team. Now, as I said, you want 4.5 stars as the minimum that your players, that of the players that you're signing. Now, how much you want to pay is no more than 10 tokens. You don't want to pay more than 10 tokens. And this is how I negotiate my contracts at the beginning of the season. I don't buy or spend actual money on the game, so you won't find me making any sort of real money transactions on this channel. So how many tokens you want to spend on your players is dependent on how much you really need that player, but I try not to spend more than 10 tokens on any one player. If I spend more than 10, I might go to 15, but that player would have to be at least 95%. If you're gonna spend more than 15 tokens on any player in the auction house, that player needs to be more than 95%, because you're looking for maximum returns on your tokens. If you are a player that does not spend real money on game, then you definitely need to not spend more than 15 tokens on a player, because for the entire season you might only get 40 tokens at maximum, and that's from sponsorship and events that happen in the season and other forms. In your association, if you're in an association that is high ranking, then you play for tokens at the end of every association weekend. So you might have more income for tokens if you are in a high ranking association, but that's a whole different story. So it's something else. And for new players, getting into an association might be easy. I don't know, because when I was a new player a couple months ago, I didn't even bother searching for an association. I just went right ahead and created my own association. We're not doing too badly. We've gained promotion every season since I created it, except for one season we didn't. We just missed promotion by maybe 24 points or something like that, but that was because we didn't have active members. These members in my association, they're still fairly active. They're not on every day, but that's because, you know, persons are working people and whatever. But yeah, you get tokens from the association depending on what position you finish. In this level, season 2, which I gained a promotion, so for this new season that starts tomorrow, yes, your association season starts 3 days into the season. So the association season starts tomorrow. I'll be playing in Silver 1, but for Silver 2, I got 3 tokens for finishing first place, 2 tokens for finishing second, and 1 for finishing third, and you get 1 rest for finishing fourth. Now in season 2, you'll notice that there's more tokens that you'll get for finishing in the first place. You get 4 tokens, and it -1 for every position you finish after first place. So 3 tokens for second and 2 tokens for third. That's how you get tokens from associations. No, that's one way how you can get tokens other than spending actual money in the game. You also get tokens from certain events that happen in game. There are none right now, but sometimes throughout the season, Nordeus might release 1 or 2 events that you might win a token or 2 from. So as I said, at any given time for a person that does not spend actual money on the game, you might get about 40 tokens for the entire season. 42, 45 if you're lucky. So if you take a look at our finances here and you take a look at our TV sponsorship. Now, this is a sponsorship deal that gives you tokens. I always mostly sign the O2 sponsorship, the Oxygen sponsorship, because, well, it suits me better because you basically get 1 token just for coming and playing the game every day, and I play the game every day, so I'll always get that token, and you get 1 extra for coming back 4 days in a row, so you end up getting 2 tokens every 4 days, and it's a contract that lasts for 10 days, so you can get, do the math, 35 tokens at the end of the season. So no, at the end of 10 days. At the end of 10 days, you can get about 35 tokens. And that's a lot of tokens for the season. So this is another way that you can get tokens without spending actual money on the game. Now, if you save your tokens from the sponsorship and you save your tokens from your events and you save them all up for the season, then you might be able to get I don't know, let's say 100 tokens for the entire season. Yeah, you might get 100 tokens for the entire season if you don't spend any at all. But again, you won't be able to make that much if you're spending your tokens on players at the beginning of the season. So back to how that affects your ability to sign contracts. Now, I've spoken to you about how you can get tokens. Yeah, that was like a segue into how you get tokens into the game. But it all ties into your contract negotiations at the beginning of the season, because you'll need that tokens to do the contract signings. Now, as I said, you don't want to spend more than 10 tokens on a player that is 4 stars. You don't want 4.5 stars. You don't want to spend more than 10 tokens on that player. And if they are 5.5 stars, you want to grab them. Like this player, he's 5.5 stars, 92 rated, so I'll definitely put a bid on him. But another factor that you have to take into consideration is his age. Now, his age is 31. That's going to have an effect on his skill. Now, I bid 2 tokens on this player because he's 31. I wouldn't pay more than 5 tokens for a player that's 31. Normally, but because his quality is 92%, I know that, okay, he won't be developing much further in the season, so he's on a decline right now. He won't be gaining as much or as fast of a quality throughout the season. So, you know, for a player that's maybe 19 years old and he's 92%, you know that at the end of the season he would be at least 102% at the end of the season. So you're going to have a 6-star player at the end. So he's not going to be gaining any more stars because he's 31. He's on a decline. So if you look at his qualities there, he's a few good qualities: finishing, shooting, you know, it's good, passing is good, and he's still fairly quick for 31 years old. So I'd bid 2 tokens on him, just so I'm able to keep an eye on his offering. So now you can see somebody else has bid 5 tokens, but I'm not going to pay more than 10 tokens for him because he's 92 rated. As I said, if he's 95 rated, you can pay 15 tokens for him because he'll be worth it. Because at the end of the season, you'll get a 6-star player for 15 tokens. But he's 31, so he won't be getting that 6-star at the end of the season. If you continue to scroll through, you'll see players that are 5 stars, and persons are bidding tons and tons of tokens on players that are not even that good, but that's for persons who have tokens to spend, or persons who need extra, they need that player, then they might spend the extra tokens on him. But for me, it's not worth it. If a player is just 4 stars, no more than 10 tokens. If a player is 95%, which is 5.5 stars, then you might be able to spend up to 15 tokens. In the past, I usually spend 17 tokens on a player that's maybe just 5 stars, but that was like season 2 or season 3 when I didn't know anything about the game. But for what is here, yeah, you don't want to spend more than 10 tokens for any contract negotiation. So again, there are different contracts that you can sign, different players that you can sign, I should say. These are some more expensive players. If you notice, their tokens are 70 and 60. I don't even look at these players because I know I won't be able to sign them at all. None of it. So that's what I would suggest for player negotiations at the beginning of the season, because these players are players that are going to gain things throughout the season. They'll gain points, they'll gain skills throughout the season. But if you see here, his price has gone up to 10 tokens. So this is still a good deal. For 11 tokens, still a good deal. But someone made the bid before me. But 12 tokens, I wouldn't pay 12 tokens for this person. So Yasin will walk away with that one. I wouldn't pay 12 tokens because, as I said, they won't get that 6 star at the end of the season. But I guess this person needed that player more than I did. So they're willing to spend 11 tokens there. I was not willing to do that. So another match is happening, a cup match. I always support my friends because there's a achievement that you get for supporting your friends. So I always just click support. It doesn't take much from me. Sometimes I take a look and I learn a bit from the match. But for this video, we are discussing player transfers for the beginning of the season. So I still have a few signings that I need to make for my team, but I already spoke to you guys about what you should and should not do for player contract negotiations at the beginning of the season. So 1, don't buy any player that's less than 4 stars. They're not going to be worth it. 2, don't spend more than 10 tokens. 15 if they are worth it and if you actually need them. So 15 tokens is the maximum you want to spend on any one player. And if you're buying more than one player for the season, don't buy more than 15 tokens, because then you'll end up spending 30 tokens for the entire season. That's a lot of tokens for one season. Spending 30 tokens per season, that's a lot. You're losing a lot of tokens there, because that's, again, half of what you get from your TV sponsorship for the entire season. So make sure you don't spend more than 15 tokens on any player. Third thing for contract negotiations is you don't want to buy a player that's too old, because if they're too old, they won't get as many skills later on throughout the season, and the money that you pay for them won't be worth it. So if they're younger, it's going to cost more, but it will be worth it. So you can spend 16, 17, maybe 18 tokens on a player that's 21 or younger. 18 tokens on a player that's 21 or younger, and they are 95% or more. That player would definitely be worth it. So you can spend the tokens there. Outside of that, you don't want to, as I said, you don't want to be wasting your valuable tokens. So this video has been a very long one, but I hope you guys understand what to do and what not to do for player negotiations at the beginning of the season. And I know a lot of persons are returning to the game, and there are going to be a lot of new players because of the 3D and all that, but I want you guys to make sensible transfers, okay? Make sure you make sensible transfers at the beginning of the season, because that is how you will set yourself up to win trophies in the future, by signing sensible players at the beginning of every season, and at the end of the season you make valuable contract negotiations at the end of the season, so you can set yourself up for the beginning of the new season that is coming up. So thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you guys for sticking. I hope you learned something from the video for contract negotiations at the beginning of the season. And if you guys want to know what to do at the end of the season, check out my previous video, season 6 contract negotiations in top 11, and you will see how I set up myself to make good decisions this season. So I hope you guys watch the next video. So we will be talking about player skills and their attributes and play styles and stuff like that later on. For the new 3D, there are going to be some changes for the play styles and stuff, so we'll be talking about that later on the channel. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you learned something about the contract negotiations at the beginning of the season, and I'll see you guys in the next video.